It was only until the release of The Witcher 3 and Fallout 4 last year that I realized I don't like these kinds of games. And I think it was because of the amount of stuff. And by stuff I mean menus, tutorials, items, amount of exposition, characters, gameplay options. Basically everything that makes an open world RPG like this take years to make. I found myself quitting Fallout 4 after only a few hours and The Witcher 3 only after 15 minutes. Many could say I didn't give them enough of a chance, but I'm one that needs to be hooked immediately from the start for me to keep playing. After a while I realized the things I value most in games can be truncated to 3 things. Control, music, and sense of direction. Direction meaning the game knew what it wants to be and how it gets there. A game that has always resonated with me and really hits it home on these 3 things is the Super Monkey Ball series for the GameCube. It's a series that really emphasizes simplicity and scores on what it wants to be. The game's creator, Amusement Vision, was a company that seemed to appear out of nowhere, create 3 of the best games of all time, the Super Monkey Ball series and F-Zero GX, and then disappear after only 4 years. So, back in 2000, Sega partitioned some of their departments creating sections like the Sonic Team, Smile-Bit, and Amusement Vision. Leading the team was one Noshihiro Nagoshi. Over its 4-year existence, the team focused primarily on arcade games, some of which include Ollie King and the F-Zero and Monkey Ball arcade games. The only console games they ever created were Virtua Striker 3, Daytona 2001 for the Dreamcast, and the previously mentioned F-Zero GX and Monkey Ball games. After 2004, Amusement Vision was reconsolidated back into Sega's new entertainment R&D program. A lot of the AV polish was never to be seen again. But we can see some of the influence in games like Epic Mickey when the team was largely integrated into the Yuzuka team. But what made Amusement Vision so special? Earlier I said direction, music, execution, and simplicity were what really shined. But what specifically made the Monkey Ball games so good? To start, the degree of difficulty, the skill ceiling, and the lack of need to teach the player how to play is what makes it great. There is no need for annoying pop-ups or a 10-minute training session on the controls. This was used popularly in the first level of the original Super Mario Bros. Game. In this video, Miyamoto explains that by letting the player explore a bit and learn what's good and what leads to death, it intrigues the player and subconsciously teaches them how to play.
で、そうか。それで初めて穴があるんですね。で、穴は飛び越すんですけど、こうなってると上の方でちょっと深い穴で大体落ちるんですね、こうして。落ちても大丈夫なようにしたらこう自然に人のしそうなことをこうやりながらちょっとずつ教えていってで何かというと多分遊ぶ人は自分が何をしてるか分かることが一番大事だと思うんですよ。だから最初
When Monkey Ball 1 is loaded, it immediately sends the player to the main menu with 3 options: main game, party games, and mini games. Some might wander to the other options, but a majority of excited gamers would immediately go to the main game. From here, probably normal mode, and then some ambitious gamers might go to expert, but normal or beginner seems the safest pick. Upon picking beginner, floor 1 appears. A monkey and a ball is dropped on a stage and a time limit starts. After stating go, the player is left to move around and eventually figure out how to move. A closer look will reveal that instead of moving the monkey around, the player is moving the stage. After maybe collecting some of the bananas and breaking the ribbon that says goal, the player is awarded with points. Floor 2 provides a new obstacle that the player has to maneuver around. And Floor 3 introduces the concept of momentum, one of the best parts of Monkey Ball. There are multiple, almost infinite ways to solve each stage. One could either take the longer, easier route, or pick up momentum and skip the entire stage, teaching that there are many ways to beat each stage. As every stage increases and teaches the player more about the game, the player's skill increases, and the more comfortable they will be at completing more difficult stages. Monkey Ball isn't even close to the only game that does this, but it does it the best and with ease. After getting to absurdly difficult stages after maybe weeks or months of playing, the player will get to this absurdly hard stage, often stated as the most difficult stage in the game. In order to complete the stage, minute precision on the control stick is required, leading me to my second point, execution. The physics is very consistent throughout, and because of the infinite ways to complete each stage, speedrunners have jumped on this game a number of years ago, creating numerous ways of completing each stage, including bouncing off of every which way and excelling this game to a whole nother level. The rounded sides at the beginning of the level provide for a way of gaining speed to commit these insane trick shots. The skill ceiling really is infinite. In coalition with the fast menuing and other things that makes these games great is the music. It's sort of a unique take on the early 2000s techno or house that makes me excited about the level. In Super Monkey Ball 2, a story mode is introduced that in actuality isn't important, but it gives context for the music that's playing and why. In World 2, the antagonist, Dr. Badboon, places a bomb in the center of the volcano, and the player is left scaling the volcano as the atmospheric music plays. Later in the story, you are swallowed by a whale and are left to escape the whale by traveling around the city the whale has swallowed. It adds to the overall experience and is another reason to love these games. When the player falls off the stage, he is instantly put back at the start, ready to try again, not letting a set wait time frustrate them. And because of the great physics and controls, any anger or frustration from a mistake is put on the player rather than the game. In the later game, Super Monkey Ball 2, a retry button is even added, letting the player restart the second he sees himself falling. Also, the blatant product placement for the company Dole is another sign of the confidence from the team. Every single banana in this game has the logo, and it humorously ignores the fact that there's a GameCube in this world. If a game is polished to near perfection, it can get away with unironically breaking the fourth wall and advertise a sponsor in every single level. Amusement Vision created something in these games comparable to the Super Smash Bros. Melee and Team Fortress 2 games that gives the player an open medium and lets them run wild with it. Among all the bells and whistles of current and future games made by big companies, we forget that one idea done really well exceeds any open world RPG. It's no surprise why a game like Undertale gained so much popularity in so little time. Game design genius like Monkey Ball often gets overlooked because the player is lost in the game or is having too much fun to even notice. So, next time you play a video game, have some critical thoughts about its design.